All right, chemistry people, welcome back. We are going to do some more metric conversions today. I apologize for the background noise. Some people are mowing their lawn next door. It's going to be noisy for a little bit. Today we are going to, one, try and remember the prefixes in the metric system and the relationship to each other. And two, we are going to try and remember how to use our unit analysis so that we can cancel out units and get into the units that we want. So those are the two things that we're going to do. We are going to really need calculators today. So if you do not have a calculator, stop the video really quickly and go and grab one. If you are in my classroom, there are calculators on the side, on the lab bench, on the wall that faces east. So grab a calculator, sit down, and get comfortable. All right. One of the ways that we're going to hopefully help you understand the relationships between the different prefixes in the metric system is this chart that I've made here on the side. So this chart is to help you understand the relationships between the different prefixes in the metric system. So I have made the chart based off of grams. It can be done for all the other units as well. We can use it for meter, liters, or seconds. These are the relationships between the base unit and then the different prefixes. So we have 10 grams is equal to a deca, not deci. Deci is the little lowercase d. So the big case D is deca. 100 grams is equal to 1 hectogram. 1,000 grams is equal to a kilogram, and 1,000,000 grams is equal to a megagram. Let's do the smaller ones. 10 decigrams equals 1 gram. 10 to the 2 or 100 centigrams are equal to a gram. 10 to the 3 or 1,000 milligrams are equal to a gram. 1,000,000 micrograms are equal to a gram. And 1,000,000,000 nanograms are equal to a gram. So this is what we will be using here. We can use it for whatever unit we want. The first question that we are going to be doing, we want to convert 55.82 micrometers to kilometers. So we need to look at our relationships here. We want to look at micro. Let's see that funny little character. That, by the way, is mu in the Greek alphabet. We have 1,000,000 micrometers to 1 meter. So I have micrometers here on the top. So on my next step, I want them on the bottom so that they will cancel out. So I'm going to put the 1,000,000 micrometers on the bottom. So I will have 10 to the 6th micrometers, and that will equal 1 meter. Okay, so notice I can take my units of micrometers. Micrometers divided by micrometers cancels them out, and I'm left with meters. So I'm going to take 55.82, and I'm going to divide it by 1,000,000, or 10 to the 6th. Now, I don't know about you if you've ever used the caret key right here, but that's how I did that 10 to the 6th. So I punched in 10, and then I punched the caret key, and then I punched in 6. That's what's going to help you with that right there. So I'm going to put in enter, and that will give me 5.82 times 10 to the negative 5th. And the unit I have left is meters. Okay, so I will get 5.582 times 10 to the negative 5th. But I'm not done because I don't want meters, I want kilometers. So I'm going to take this answer that we just did, and I'm going to put it right here. 5.582 times 10 to the negative 5th meters. And I don't want meters, I want kilometers. So on my next step, I want to look at meters being on the bottom and kilometers being on the top. So let's look at that relationship that I need. Kilometers, kilo. That would be 1,000 meters will equal 1 kilometer. So I'm going to put 1,000 or 10 to the 3. 10 to the 3 meters will give me 1 kilometer. So that means that my meter is being divided by meter. So that is canceling out. And I will be left with the unit of kilometer. So I'm going to take this answer that we got from the previous question, and I'm just going to divide it by 10 to the 3, or 1,000. So divide by 10 caret 3. So that's what I plugged in here. I'm going to hit enter. This will give me 5.582 times 10 to the negative 8. Oh, that's a horrible 8. And my unit that I'm left with is kilometer. Okay? So, is there a way that I can string both of those problems together to do one big problem and make it a little bit faster? You bet there is. And this is how we like to do it in chemistry. We like to string things together. So, okay, what just happened? This has been doing this a lot, and I'm really, really starting to get upset with this. Okay, let's find where we're at. Okay, here we are. So we're going to string this together. We're going to do the 5.582 micrometers. We're going to use the exact same conversion factor. Remember, micrometers is going to be on the bottom so that I can cancel it out. So I have 10 to the 6 micrometers will give me 1 meter. That will cancel out my micrometers. And then I'm going to use the exact same thing here. I have 10 to the 3, or 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. So 10 to the 3 meters in 1 kilometer. My meter is being divided by meter, so that will cancel that unit out as well. So if I plug this into my calculator, I will get the same thing. So 55.82 divided by 10 to the 6, and then divided by 10 to the 3. So I will put it in my calculator like that. And once again, I get 5.582 times 10 to the negative 8, the exact same thing. And our answer here that we're left with is kilometers for our unit. Now, I want to show you something really quick with the exponents. This will give you a little bit of a way to do a gut check. And my word is not responding. Great. Okay, so if I write this in scientific notation, this is going to be 5.582 times 10 to the 1. So I'm going to just look at these exponents. 1 minus 6 gives me a negative 5. And at that first step, I did have an exponent of negative 5. So on my next step, if I take that negative 5 and I subtract 3, that will give me a negative 8. So anytime you have an exponent, base 10, that is on the bottom, you're going to subtract it from whatever the exponent is on top. And if you have an exponent on top, you're just going to add them across. That's a good way to make sure that the size of your number is where you expect it to be. Okay? Next thing, we are going to look at converting 0.0075 decigrams. Notice it's a lowercase d, so it's deci. So we're going to use this factor right here to hectograms. So hecto goes right here. So those are the two factors we're going to be using here. So I want decigrams to cancel out. So deci is going to have to go on the bottom of the next step. So if I look at this, I have 10 decigrams in 1 gram. Okay, so my decigrams cancel. I am left with grams. My next step, I want my grams to cancel because I want to end up with hecto. So if I look at hecto and gram right here, I have 100 grams in 1 hectogram. So I'm going to take 0.0075 and I'm going to divide it by 10 because that's on the bottom. And I'm going to divide it by 100 because that also is on the bottom. So this will give me 7.5 times 10 to the negative 6. Let's do our trick with our exponents here. So this is really 7.5 times 10 to the negative 3, right? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so negative 3, this is times 10 to the 1, right? Negative 3 minus 1 will give me negative 4. This is times 10 to the 2. So negative 4 minus 2 will give me negative 6. So that's right where I want to be. Okay, so let's do this next one together. I want to convert 5.32 centimeters to kilometers. So if I look at, this is getting kind of busy, so I'm going to erase these. I want to look at centimeters and kilometers. Is that not? Okay. So centimeters, centi, there's 100 centimeters in a meter. And then grams, or not grams, but meters, there's 1,000 meters in a kilometer. So I'm going to use those two conversion factors. I'm going to start with the number and the unit that I'm given. I'm given 5.32 centimeters. And I want my centimeters to cancel. So I want the centi right here. I want this to be on the bottom. So I have 100 centimeters will give me 1 meter. And that cancels out my unit of centimeters. And then I'm left with units of meters. I want my meters to cancel. So on the next step, I want my meters to be here on the bottom. My conversion is 1,000 or 10 to the 3. 10 to the 3 meters will give me 1 kilometer. So let's erase that 100 because it's really written so poorly. Okay, so this will take my meters and cancel my meter unit. I'm left with kilometers, which is exactly what I want for my meter, for my unit. Okay, so I'm going to take 5.32 and I'm going to divide it by 100 because that 100 is on the bottom, so that means it's a divider. Then I'm going to also divide it by 1,000 or 10 to the 3 because it's also on the bottom. And I should get my answer here. So 5.32 divided by 100 and then divided by 1,000 or 10 to the 3 will give me 5.32 times 10 to the negative 5. And the unit that we have left is kilometer. Okay, so our next one, we are going to convert megagrams to decigrams. So let's look at the conversion units that we're going to need to use here. Oh, that doesn't want to erase at all. So we're going to want megagram, and we're also going to want decigrams. So right here, this one. Okay, so let's look at this. Let's start with the unit and number that we're given, 0.564 megagram. I want that megagram to cancel. So on my next step, I want megagram to be on the bottom because megagram is on the top in that first step. And I want gram to be here. So I've got 10 to the 6 or 1,000,000 grams will give me 1 megagram. So that does cancel my unit of megagram and into gram, but my ending unit is decigram, so I need to do some more. So in 1 gram, if we remember, I've got 10 decigrams. Okay, so that cancels my unit of grams right there, and I'm left with the unit of decigrams, which is what I want. So I'm going to take 0.564, and because these numbers are now on top, I'm going to use them as multipliers. 0.564, I'm going to multiply it by 1,000,000 or 10 to the 6th, and then I'm going to multiply it by 10. So this is how I would put it into my calculator right here. And when we do that, we get this. I'm going to have to actually count my zeros. So 5.64 times, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 10 to the 6th decigrams is what I should get. Okay? So notice we are spending a lot of time looking at our units, and we are spending a lot of time looking at our relationships between the units to know what's going in. Next time, we are going to start looking at converting things between the metric system and the English system and mixing systems, and it gets kind of confusing. So next time, more unit analysis, but this time we're going to throw in some English system units. See you. Bye.